Now that the Stanley Cup has been handed out, we're now in the official off-season months when it comes to hockey. But the Canadian Hockey League coming with a big announcement this morning. That going back over hockey history, whenever it's Canada versus USA, it's always a classic matchup. Well, the CHL and the U.S. National Development Program, they're looking to amp up that rivalry a little bit more starting in the 24-25 season. They've agreed to a 3-year deal, which will see NHL draft eligible CHL players taking on NHL draft eligible players from the U.S. National Development Program. And they're calling it the Prospects Challenge. It'll be a 2-game series and will likely replace the CHL Top Prospects game. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but you'll remember back earlier in the year when it was in Moncton that it sounded like change was on the way when it came to the Top Prospects game. So this could be that change, although it hasn't been confirmed as of yet, because the Prospects Challenge, it'll take place in November, although the location and the date has not yet been confirmed. What has been confirmed, though, is that each CHL league will get a chance to host it. We just don't know where it's going to start. Obviously, the Memorial Cup, it's going to be in Rimouski next season, so maybe that means the Prospects Challenge will take place in either the Western Hockey League or the Ontario Hockey League. We don't know that for sure, but still, it's going to be an exciting little series, I think. It kind of replaces the old Canada-Russia Summit series that took place. It was ended before COVID. But that series, if you remember, it took a Russian junior hockey team and they went across North America. They played 2 games in each CHL league, and you would see draft eligible players going up against each other. The scouts from all 32 NHL teams would get a chance to see these prospects in these high level events. So it's kind of similar to that, except it'll only feature North American players, or players rather, from the CHL and the U.S. National Development Team. So that was announced this morning. We'll have to wait and see how this will all play out, but still another great opportunity for those players who are getting ready for the 2025 NHL entry draft, because tournaments like this can really help a player rise in the draft rankings. And with it being so early in the season too, before the World Juniors, it's a great chance for these players kind of to set the tone for the year. So we'll have to follow along, wait and see where it'll be held. Does it replace the CHL Top Prospects game and all those other details? I'm sure that'll come out in the coming weeks, but today they just announced the partnership between the CHL and the U.S. national team. There were a couple of American Hockey League signings, as the Toronto Marlies signing a couple of OHLers. The Marlies, of course, they play in the American Hockey League. They've signed former Barrie Colt Jacob Frasca to a 1-year AHL contract. Exciting stuff for Jacob Frasca. Of course, Frasca traded from Barrie to Sault Ste. Marie at the OHL trade deadline, and he fit in quite nicely with the Greyhounds. 21 points in 28 games after joining the Red and White. And you'll also remember, too, at the start of last season, he took part in the Toronto Maple Leafs development camp. So obviously, the Maple Leafs organization likes what they see with Jacob Frasca, and now giving him this chance to play in the American Hockey League next season. And to join him will be Marko Sikic. He played with the Sarnia Sting last season. Sikic had a career high in points last season with Sarnia. 57 points to go along with 18 goals and 39 assists. So 2 OHLers heading off to join the Toronto Marlies next season. And this last news item, I'm kind of just covering it because I'm a jersey nerd, and something stood out. It was the Steelheads being formally welcomed by the city of Brampton. They had a special jersey unveiling at Brampton City Hall yesterday. Mayor Patrick Brown received a jersey from the Steelheads, but when you look at the picture, the only thing that's changed is the logo itself. The whole jersey still has the Toronto Maple Leafs patterns, the blue and white, except it says Brampton instead of Mississauga. So that's the biggest change for the jersey front. Also to note, I'm kind of surprised they didn't change the shoulder patch. It's still the letter M with the lighthouse in the middle. Obviously, the Steelheads organization not abandoning Mississauga. I did that interview with Elliot Kerr, and he did say that they want to be Peel Region's team. So maybe that's the thought process behind keeping the letter M on the shoulder. But still, they're keeping the Steelheads brand. But the next thing that stood out to me, and if I'll put the picture here, this is the jersey photo. The CCM is not where it typically belongs. Typically, it's on the left chest. It's been like that for years, where the jersey manufacturer has their logo on the front. At one point, it was Reebok about 20 years, almost 20 years ago. And then eventually CCM took over the contract, and they always put the manufacturer's logo on the left side, and then the OHL logos on the front. Now, if you noticed, it's been moved under the collar above the logo. I'm almost wondering, I haven't had this confirmed, if this is the step towards having ads on OHL jerseys. The NHL, of course, in the last few years has started putting ads on their jerseys, and they also started with the ads on the helmets, and then eventually the OHL picked up on it. That's why with OHL teams, you now see the ads on the helmets. So I'm wondering if this is kind of a sign of things to come, that we'll start seeing ads on OHL jerseys. Like I said, nothing to confirm. It's just when it comes to jerseys, I see these little details and then my mind starts running. It's like, why did they make that change? Is it just for the sake of change, or are they following the National Hockey League's lead and preparing to have ads on jerseys? Could we see ads as soon as next season? Time will tell. I'm sure the OHL would make an announcement this summer if that's going to be the case, but this is the first time I've noticed this on any of the 20 OHL teams, and it happened yesterday when Brampton formally welcomed the Steelheads, who are set to play at the CAA Center starting in September, just in time for the 24-25 OHL regular season. So that's how I see it from the booth. Let me know your comments down below. Am I being a little crazy and thinking we will have ads on OHL jerseys? Let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you again soon.